life completely ruined. The story starts off with a man in a cap being laughed at performing as a mascot handler in public. At the same time, he thinks his life is completely ruined. He thought to himself, why is he doing this kind of job instead of going to university like the others? The reason he's doing this job is to get enough decent pay for the third university admission exam attempt. While doing his job, a student keeps punching his bag to demonstrate on how to punch a training dummy. The students called him out as a boomer and asked him how much does he get paid for doing his job. He toughens himself up because he is an adult now, because it's not like the usual bullies that used to ridicule him before. He stuttered, stating that he gets paid $10 an hour. He asked the delinquents while stuttering on how old are they. The delinquents were amazed on how he can stutter that much, asking if he has brain delay. He gets angry, saying that an adult is working, and called them little brats. The delinquents retaliated by kicking him behind the knee, calling him a slur. He stumbles while the delinquents are making fun of his stutter while he's kneeled down. They proceed to leave while still making fun of him. He thinks to himself to get revenge on the delinquents, highlighting those guys that ruined his life. He thought to himself that they are definitely living like a bum this time, especially the blonde guy nicknamed the Devil, Jong and Chol. Transition to the Jong and Chol now. He is now the head of a company. Jong and Chol then asked the guy from before that he is the part-timer for today. He gives his business card. It turns out he is a chief executive officer of a cell phone store in Korea. He was in disbelief, thinking to himself, why is the Devil the boss of a company? Someone suddenly called in Chol and congratulated him in the opening of his company. To add salt to the wound, it was all the people who bullied him that became successful. Jong and Chol jokingly tells them that they are doing better than before. Studying doesn't always equal to being successful. Jong and Chol asks his friend if it's a new BMU. It reminds him of his high school times. He was dumbfounded, saying that it shouldn't be like that. All of his bullies from the past are more successful than him. He says that they should be doing criminal activities. He thinks to himself that Jong and Chol shouldn't be a boss driving foreign cars. A man calls him out, proceeding to call him Kim Jin-wo. They proceeded to call and mock him like that because of his stutters. Jong and Chol removes his cap and announces that it is him while stuttering his name on purpose. The Devil proceeds to ask if he's doing fine in his current life. He then apologizes for everything he has done in the past, that he was bit immature. Kim Jin-wo thought to himself that it was humiliating being apologized to by his bully. Jong and Chol lends him a hefty amount of cash to use it as a cab fare. His jewelry was exposed, shining brightly, meaning he is very rich, while Kim Jin-wo's hands are covered in dirt, showing the difference of the two. Kim Jin-wo, with a sense of pride, thinks to himself that he can't accept it. He tells Jong and Chol that he's going too far with his jokes and tells him to do a proper apology with actually sincerity, because he's living a life like that because of the people in front of him. They were the reason Kim Jin-wo was stuttering. Jong and Chol gets pissed, calling him a slur for bringing up memories from the past. He then gives him another cash money and apologizes that he doesn't even remember the things that he did before. While Kim Jin-wo was experiencing hell itself every day, he then runs, throwing the money away. Jong and Chol shouts after him, that place isn't a street, that it's 3 floors underground. Kim Jin-wo, while falling, he calls Jong and Chol a piece of shit since he's still making fun of him by copying his stutter. He thinks to himself that he's going to die in a pathetic way in front of his bully. Kim Jin-wo curses Jong and Chol in his death, and if he could just go back to the past in high school where the bullying started. If Jong and Chol could feel what have Kim Jin-wo would felt. Here, we see Kim Jin-wo waking up in a classroom. He was confused and thinks if he is in a dream in his high school days. Then we see students in front of him, telling them that hitting someone in the temple makes them pass out. Kim Jin-wo thought to himself that it really was a dream. He then proceeds to slap the bully in front of his face, since he thinks that it was just a dream. The bully fought back and pummels him in the ground, asking if he's crazy. Kim Jin-wo was wondering why it hurts. He then realizes that it wasn't a dream, and everything is real. Did he really come back to the past as a second year in high school? A person walks in from the door, asking why is it so noisy, and if they've gone crazy. It was Jang and Chul who appeared right in front of him, saying his name, Kim Jin-woo. He was shocked since he was called Kim Jin-woo. He doesn't understand why is he calling him that name. It turns out that Kim Jin-woo wasn't in the body, but instead, it was Jang and Chul. He is currently seeing himself stand in front of him. How is it possible that he is standing right in front of him? And why is he in Kim Jin-woo's body? A mysterious person tells him that he will indeed curse him. He will put him in a series of challenges where he will feel the pain Kim Jin-woo has put up in high school. He went back to the past and met the devil himself. Like literally himself. The problem is that person was the person himself from the past. A student was getting beaten up, asking why is he getting the treatment. Jang and Chul replies saying that he doesn't know, and he just loves bullying losers. The classroom was a place where he can reign as a king if you know how to fight. A girl asks him out to come over and drink at her house since she is alone. Losers can't imagine to have a life like that. Jang and Chul mock students that are studying well can't live the life that he has. And to protect his position in the classroom, he trains in MMA. His lackeys are asking him if he's going to debut as a pro. Jang and Chul replies that he is just doing it for fun. All the adults are speaking badly of him, stating that it was obvious what was going to happen to him in the future. The adults kept saying things among those lines, that's why Jang and Chul felt anxious. But to his surprise, he has a talent of beating people up. That's why after he graduated, he debuted as a pro. Using the bonuses he got from signing, he sets up a store. As it can turn out, you can succeed without studying well. He wonders what would happen to the people who reads and studies in textbooks. Transitioning to the past. As it turns out, losers still remain losers even in adulthood. Jang and Chul pitied Kim Jin-woo for attempting the university exam for the third time, and he himself has been on the fast and easy way to success. Transitioning to now, he gets kicked in the face as Kim Jin-woo. Jang and Chul expected that bullying is really the right thing for him. Jang and Chul, in Kim Jin-woo's body, thinks why is he getting beaten up by his old past self. Here we see, he himself, Jang and Chul, 22 years old, is currently stuck in the body of the loser he bullied 3 years ago. He's furious on why did he become Kim Jin-woo. One of his lackeys from the past holds him in an armbar and asks if he's doing it correctly. Jang and Chul as Kim Jin-woo struggles and proceeds to insult him in his thoughts. The past Jang and Chul tries to teach the lackey on how to do a correct armbar. Both of them knew exactly what to say and how to perform an armbar. He then asks Anchul how to do a guillotine choke while Jang and Chul's arm is currently hurting. His fist wants to unleash and beat them all up. He thinks for a second that he wants to massacre them since they have nothing to contribute to the world anyway. He then rushes at his past self and thinks that it would be fine if he just kill his past self. A mysterious entity then talks to him that he is gonna regret it if he does that. It questions him if he wants to return to his own body. He was confused, looking for someone who is speaking to him. He wonders who said such things to him. Jang and Chul from the past proceeds to guillotine choke himself. He chokes him for no reason. He counts down on how long can he hold till he passes out. While about to pass out, Jang and Chul thought that the posture was perfect. The mysterious entity wakes him up with his voice, telling him that he would experience some pain. He wakes up seeing himself in the present. The entity asks him how does it feel to be bullied, becoming the loser. He was shocked since it was the same voice that he heard before. He realizes that the voice was from Kim Jin-woo. The mysterious entity was actually Kim Jin-woo. Kim Jin-woo asks how does it feel to become on the other end being bullied. Jang and Chul asks why is he doing this to him. He replies that he still doesn't get it. Kim Jin-woo laughs and rhetorically asks why is he doing this to him. He doesn't know as well why he did those bullying to him. Jang and Chul bullied him just because he was taller and stronger than him. Didn't he live his life as if he was a king? Kim Jin-woo put a curse on Jang and Chul and says that he is going to be the one watching him get bullied. He nervously laughs that he should stop doing this at the moment. He will treat him better when he gets back to his body. He pleads that he should undo the curse. If that wouldn't work, he asks to give him a hint to undo the curse. Kim Jin-woo agrees to undo the curse for 2 conditions. First condition is to stop the life completely ruined incidents. Because of him, his life began to deteriorate and started to stutter. Because of that, he wanted to die every day for 365 days. Kim Jin-woo will never forget the major 4 incidents that happened and caused to ruin his life. Jong Un-chul tells him that he remembers it and apologizes. He thought to himself he was screwed, and nothing comes to mind, since he doesn't know what incidents he's talking about. And how is he supposed to remember them on 365 days? He reassures that at the end of the day, the bullying from him and himself can be simply prevented. And again, to massacre them again. Kim Jin-woo stops him to tell that he wasn't thinking of beating them all up. He explains that his mission is to stop the life completely ruined incidents. That's why if he beats them all up, the incidents wouldn't happen in the first place. Jong Un-chul asks him if he wants him to suffer. Kim Jin-woo replies he was letting him go easily, and he doesn't mind the changes in minute details. He warns him that if he changes history too much, the incidents will not happen. Jong Un-chul agrees and asks what are the options. Kim Jin-woo's other option is to rehabilitate the human trash. Jong Un-chul, he laughs out loud and challenges Jong Un-chul to try doing it if he can with Kim Jin-woo's loser body. Jong Un-chul with the body of a loser. He can't do anything and block the 4 life completely ruined incidents. And to top it all off, making his past self a decent human being. Transition to the classroom. He was pissed that the guillotine choke passed him out during entire lunch break, at the same time stopping the life completely ruined incidents and reforming his past self. He doesn't even know the incidents at the first place, and thinks that it's impossible. A seatmate then calls him his name, Jin-woo. A fat nerd with a lock on his glasses tells him to be quiet. Jin-woo was surprised and asked what's with the lock on the glasses. He says that Un-chul put it on him, and to unlock it he should guess his birthday. Jin-woo was shocked that he did things like that while unlocking the lock in his glasses. His seatmate warns him to be quiet, since they will be screwed if Un-chul wakes up. His classmates couldn't even say a word to him since in the past. The door opens and the teacher walks in, questioning them where did they stop off last time. The teacher notices someone at the back sleeping and asks who is sleeping. He requested Jin-woo to wake Un-chul up. The class turned their attention onto Jin-woo. Jin-woo thought for a second on how to wake up his past self. He slaps Un-chul on the back of the head. The class was surprised. Jin-woo proceeded to talk badly about himself. Un-chul proceeds to wake up. Un-chul woke up glaring at Jin-woo. The fat nerd got surprised, wondering where Jin-woo got the courage to hit Un-chul in the back of the head. He thought that he should immediately ask for forgiveness to be spared to what happens next, but to his surprise nothing came. This is because Un-chul thinks that Jin-woo won't have the guts to hit him and therefore thought that it was a dream. Everyone was stunned that he got away after hitting Un-chul, saying things like he is a lucky guy. The teacher calls out for student number 17 to solve the problem on the board. He looks at the attendance list to see who's number 17. The class was nervous on who is number 17. Turns out that Un-chul was the number 17. The teacher calls Un-chul again to come out and go to the front. Un-chul is thinking that the teacher gives punishment if they can't solve the equation. The fat nerd gets nervous and thinks that Un-chul will get mad at them for waking him up. He then sees Jin-woo walk up to the front saying if he's gonna go that far. The fat nerd was shocked and didn't think that Jin-woo would go to the front instead of Un-chul. He thought that this act of Jin-woo is seen as a tribute to be forgiven for his sins, saying things like it's better to sacrifice his rear than to make Un-chul mad. He instead found this amusing. After the class, Un-chul smacked Jin-woo with moves ending in no apparent reason, as punishment for hitting him in the back of the head. He also said that even if Jin-woo took the beating for him from the teacher, he is still not forgiven. Jin-woo's pissed off face made Un-chul wonder why is his fighting spirit not broken. But something tells him that if he changes the past too much, he might not be able to return to his original body. So he just apologized to Un-chul, but still got kicked in the face. Un-chul tells Simpson to do something about Jin-woo, because he is also responsible for him. The fat kid asks Jin-woo if he's alright. He replied with groans of pain. Simpson whispers something to Chol, plotting a punishment for Jin Woo. Chol gets the idea and agrees to it. He walks up and tells the woman named Park Dabin to come. He asks her to lean forward so that Chol could pull a hair of her to give it to Simpson. Simpson uses the hair to tie the fat nerd and Jin Woo's hand together. He tells them both if they break it, they'll get beat up, so he's gonna keep watch of them in every break time. Chol praises Simpson for the funny idea, and Park Dabin was confused that her hair was only used to tie their hands. Jin Woo thinks that this is a joke and was expecting some more. The fat nerd tells to Jin Woo that he has to go pee. They later walk the hallway to go to the restroom while going through the crowd of students. They think it was a joke seeing them like that. The fat nerd asks if they had to pee together now. Jin Woo is irritated and tells him to shut up before he gets beaten. The students kept sneering around them. Jin Woo thinks that he's never felt this much humiliation in his entire life if it wasn't for the curse. A random student bumps on the fat nerd, causing the hair to break. After seeing this, Jin Woo panics and yells to the fat kid that they'll get beat up because he can't do a simple task. The fat nerd tells Jin Woo that they can't afford to lose their spirits and have to get revenge on the bullies by graduating and earning money. Jin Woo was surprised to hear the fat nerd suddenly preaching, thinking he's a loser like he is. The fat kid tells Jin Woo that he doesn't have to worry because he collects Park Dabin's hair that could last them a few months. This made Jin Woo speechless. Simpson appears behind them, and Brazilian kicks Jin Woo in the face from the back. He grins at him, asks about his kick. He tells Jin Woo to go with him to do the Dempsey roll. It made him wonder what it is, but goes along anyway. In the classroom, Chol starts a match between Simpson and Jin Woo doing the Dempsey roll. Jin Woo thought he's only here to get beat up, then proceeds to get into position and starts doing the roll. Chol's friends were watching them go at it while Park Dabin films them. Jin Woo felt really embarrassed in his current situation and seems to be jealous of the life of his past self. Chol closed in on Jin Woo and uppercuts his stomach. Chol doubts that Jin Woo will win the title and asks to do it again. The protagonist wanted to hurt them badly. Simpson smacks Jin Woo's head for not doing the roll right. He asks himself why he wants to beat him for no reason. Jin Woo stood up, clenching his fist, finally wanting to beat them up to the point they can't say a word. But all of a sudden, the same figure prevents him to do so. Jin Woo forgets it, then does the roll again while telling himself that he'll go back to his original body eventually. After the event, Jin Woo goes to the restroom to relieve himself while uttering Simpson's name in his mind. Jin Woo is filled with pent-up rage as Simpson looks to him like a loser. He calms himself down and just counts as sparing a person's life. Simpson slides in and pulls up Jin Woo's pants up, then asks who told him to pee on his own. The piss got on his face. Simpson was disgusted by him seeing that he's covered in his own pee, and tells Jin Woo if he thinks he's in Chol. Jin Woo didn't care anymore, then proceeds to walk away from him. Simpson got mad and tells him to get back. Jin Woo goes to the door and locks it while uttering the words, "Manners, make heth, a man." Simpson is confused. Jin Woo turns around and snaps at him. The figure is trying to tell him to stop, but Jin Woo can't be bothered. Simpson asks if he's out of his mind. Jin Woo shuts him out and tells him he's going to beat the ever-living crap out of him. Jin Woo walks up to him. Simpson looked frightened, but in reality, the shirt Jin Woo is wearing is something what a loser would wear. Then he bursts into laughter. Simpson tried to foot sweep Jin Woo, but because our current Jin Woo is actually in Chol from the future, he countered it and foot swept Simpson instead. He got confused as to how Jin Woo the loser pulled it off. Simpson took some copium and blames it to the slippery floor, adding that nobody wiped it. He then tried a jab. Jin Woo dodged it and then countered with the left jab to his liver. Simpson thought Jin Woo taken up some sport. He then resorted to the weight and height difference between them to win. But Chol inside the head of Jin Woo still knows how to fight someone and give thee a good beating. But since he is not in his own body anymore, a lot of aspects have changed, such as his reach, making Jin Woo's follow-up jab come short. He almost got hit by Simpson, but luckily he managed to hit him, using an elbow knocking him unconscious. After recovering from being unconscious, Simpson, again inhaling some copium, decided that him getting beaten up by a loser is not going to happen in real life. But it really did happen. He tried threatening Jin-woo, thinking it will still work. Jin-woo reflected this by giving an even bigger and realistic threat, which is spreading a rumor around the school that Simpson got beaten up by a loser. Simpson instead tried to negotiate, which Jin-woo appreciated. His terms were to tell him whatever and Chol does every day into the smallest detail, such as who does he talk to, what does he think, and the number of times he used the bathroom every day. Simpson wonders why does he need to know. Jin-woo sternly said that it's not of his business. He also added to keep secret that Simpson lost to him and to treat him like usual or else he will humiliate him in the field for everyone to see. Simpson agreed. With this, the issue is settled, and as long as Simpson keeps his mouth shut, the future won't change at all, and on top of that he has someone that will keep an eye on his past self, which is a win-win scenario. That exercise he had with Simpson freshened him up, and now he has someone he can beat up whenever he feels stressed. But this mentally made him question, what does the actual Jin-woo do to put up with the school, leading him to think that the actual Jin-woo gets relieved when getting beaten up. Putting that aside, it's back to his usual loser routine, where he holds the cigarette box for some girls so that when they get caught by the teacher, Jin-woo will take the fall. He finds it annoying that he's used as a cigarette storage. The girls insisted that they will tell and Chol on Jin-woo for talking back to them. Jin-woo gets irritated. The past self and Chol walks to the scene, then telling the girls that they should do it instead. Along him was Park Dabin, and Chol described her as a goody two-shoes angel and remembered that she was nicknamed Girl and Chol since she always chased his past self. He felt sorry for her because she was nice. Just before cutting his words, Park Dabin looked to the girls with a menacing face and asks them if they've got a death wish. She tells the girls to not call on Chol while she's smoking, then reminds them of their place. And Chol couldn't believe that Park Dabin had another meaning behind the nickname because she was putting up a front because she likes Chol. Park Dabin notices Jin-woo's glare, then proceeds to slap her. Jin-woo with an angry look on his face. Park Dabin thought that Jin-woo would have to be taught a lesson. Simpson walks to the scene. The woman asks Simpson to beat up Jin-woo. Simpson stops for a moment and says he will tear anyone straight if it's for Dabin. Immediately, Jin-woo makes a devilish look on his face, threatening Simpson if he were to harm him. Both played it nice and walked away from the area. Dabin seems to be suspicious of them, both thinking that they were acting strange. Setting aside that, the three girls were curious and quickly questioned Park Dabin what did she love about Chol. Dabin was flustered to hear it. She replied with saying that he's like Beast and that he looked cool when covered in his opponent's blood. The three girls were weirded by it. Dabin moved on from the conversation and went to check on Simpson if he's teaching Jin-woo a lesson properly. Dabin couldn't believe what she was seeing. Simpson getting dominated by Jin-woo. Jin-woo was also surprised to see her. He's now put in a corner with the thought that Dabin would spread the news and the history would end up changing. Without hesitation, Jin-woo gives her the finger and tells her to come over as well. Dabin looks annoyed as she only thinks of Jin-woo as a complete loser. All of a sudden, Park Dabin gets a glimpse and sees another beast that resides within Jin-woo. Park Dabin was flushed and confused on why is she seeing a fierce honey badger appear on Kim Jin-woo. She was suddenly annoyed when he calls her a bad word. Kim Jin-woo was confused on what is going on with her and why is she acting shy and being weird. Park Dabin asks him what does he want. Transitioning inside the school, we see Kim Jin-woo walking down the hallway thinking about Park Dabin if she would spread the rumors about him beating Minju, or known as Simpson. But we see that nothing has still happened. Park Dabin and Kim Jin-woo bump into each other. She was about to get mad until she sees Kim Jin-woo right in her face. He was also about to get mad since he was almost called a slur word. Instead of saying the full word, Park Dabin sang a lyric from a song. She was blushing while Kim Jin-woo stares right at her face. He suddenly pins her against the wall thinking that she's scared after seeing him beat Minju. He implies that he will beat anyone up, be it a man or a woman. Park Dabin was in cloud 9 and realizes the face she has been making the whole time. She begins to question why is she acting like that in front of Kim Jin-woo. Transitioning to the fat nerd. The rain was pouring down heavily. He is scared walking down the hallway. If he goes to the usual restroom to take a dump, he'll be bullied by his classmates. That's why he went to the faculty restroom instead. He proceeds to open the door and sees Jung and Chol. He came to the faculty restroom since he wants to avoid him, but why is he there? Jung and Chol permits the fat nerd to use the stall while not flushing his own dump. The fat nerd tries to please Jung and Chol in hope that he doesn't do anything. He was suddenly confused. Why is he staring at him like that? And for no reason, Jung and Chol chokes him and he faints. He sees himself waking up becoming a laughing stock inside the classroom. His name was Sulji. Sulji was on the ground of the classroom, half naked. His classmates were disgusted since they think that he didn't flush and that he fainted from pooping. Sulji laughs while crying. Transition to now. Kim Jin-woo was surprised and asked when did he do that since he is currently Jung and Chol in his body. He reassures Sulji that his classmates would remember it and it was all a joke. He was surprised that he used to do that. Sulji then vents. He asks if how could they forget when it's just too hard for him to handle. He just wanted to attend to his school and avoid being bullied by the other students. He was just trying his best, but all of it was futile. Sulji apologizes for ruining the mood. He still hangs in there because after everything Sulji has been through, he was glad that he has friend like Kim Jin-woo. After a heart-to-heart session, Sulji was surprised that he screeched. Jung and Chol suddenly launched a surprise, a no-reason choke to Kim Jin-woo. As he was getting choked, he knew that it really sucked being the victim of bullying. He then fainted and was transported back to the dark space of Kim Jin-woo. He calls out Kim Jin-woo. As he was calling all of this a curse, he calls it as nothing big of a deal. He laughs as Kim Jin-woo's spirit was silent. He thinks he's pissed that things aren't going as the way he planned. And Sim Minju won't let his reputation be tarnished, so he switched sides. And Park Dabin's so afraid of him, she couldn't spread rumors about him. If he uses two of them, stopping incidents at the school is easy as pie. He tells him that he should give up and release the curse brought upon him. Kim Jin-woo laughs. He tells him that he didn't mention anything about incidents only occurred within the school grounds. He tells him that he doesn't even remember it, and that he knows very well that they didn't just bully him at school premises. He asks Kim Jin-woo that he's stating that the incidents didn't happen at school, but outside school grounds. Kim Jin-woo refuses to give him an answer and tells him to stop if he can. Kim Jin-woo was grumpily walking thinking about the incident since it will not happen inside the school. He doesn't know where it will happen since all his high school, he only went to train in one place. And he was right, Jung and Chol is going to the gym to train just like he thought. He starts strategizing on how to monitor him without causing trouble to the plan. Kim Jin-woo starts to get confused, and he thought to himself that he can just hide his face with a mask. He goes by the nickname of Striking Hand. The guy in the front desk asks if he is a new tuber promoting the gym, and he declines. He explains that it's his first time training. The guy encourages him that it's a good decision since he's skinny. Kim Jin-woo hasn't seen him in a long time back, when he only knew how to strike and nothing else. He's the one who made him a pro at fighting. Kim Jin-woo pretends to work out and starts to monitor his past self to prevent an incident. People in the gym approached him asking if he wants to get coached. Since he's new, he gets his spine and neck locked by getting his body twisted by the person who offered to teach him. He remembers now that in his past life, all the bullies came to this gym. When he was still Jang and Keel, they were all his lackeys. The guy is mocking him and asking if he still can hold on. Coincidentally, we see Sulji right beside him, also being twisted tapping on the mat. The bully didn't have any intention of letting him go, and even if he taps, he will keep holding on. Kim Jin-woo releases himself from the bully's lock and questions why is he here in the first place. The bully was surprised on how easily he escaped out of his submission. Sulji was squirming, not knowing what to do since he's in a submission hold, asking for someone to save him. Kim Jin-woo stands in front of them. The bully asks him if he wants to go next, and suddenly, Kim Jin-woo was angry, asking him to let Sulji go. Will Jin-woo let things slide and let the issue go? Or do we have another fight in our hands? Comment if you want to see more.
Thanks for staying in tune with our manga recap. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for more updates from our content.